running? Aren't you supposed to go or something? Oh, well done.
That's why I don't.
Yes, well, finished at long last. I kept running out of steam with this because getting the large parts together was really hard. And there's bits I've not even finished off. There are supposed to be little hydraulic rams for the underside flaps. I've left the flaps down just because, but the midwheel I just can't be bothered to put them in.
When you point at stuff, go slowly so we can,
There's the flaps. They're supposed to be hydraulic.
Yeah, but
rams.
just move slowly because then people can see what you're talking about rather than move on too quickly. Okay.
And I mean, I like it having finished it, but I'm glad I finished it. Hard going.
What's that on the window? Oh, windscreen wipers.
Actually, I need to paint those. They're windscreen wipers, not supplied in the kit, so I had to create some out of thin plastic struts.
God, it needs cleaning, that side and that side. It's very messy.
That represents when the mechanics have been up and filling up the fuel tanks and things, which...
tell them to take their shoes off next time.
Crack the surface a bit. And because these cowlings are aftermarket, they're more accurate looking than the ones supplied in the kit. They were actually quite difficult to fit. And I decided to flare out the cooling flaps at the back because all the photographs are saying they are. So I did that, which is a bit hard.
Can you sit it up on that box? Because it's sort of sitting down on the ground and...
Better if I turn this over, on the surface.
That's better because you couldn't see things like the undercarriage and the wheels and...
And here, I think this pipe projecting forward is part of the cabin heating system, and it would use the heat of the exhaust to heat air to blow into the cabin, I think. I can't find anything distinct on that, but I had to modify that. They supplied it looked quite different with a big flared thing at the front, which I couldn't see on any photographs. I suspect it might have been a post-war modification because a lot of the pictures you see of Dakotas currently in wartime finish have been used after the war and modified to later standards. That include odd aerials, which I decided not to put on. And several other bits and pieces.
And now turn it round. Is it exactly the same the other side? Because I remember some sort of door. That's it.
There's a door.
I knew there was a door.
And I've added the troop entry steps.
Okay.
Standard.
Take your hand away. Yeah.
With the door open for parachute dropping.
Can't see anybody looking out the windows.
No, they haven't got on board yet, you see.
Oh, okay.
The big problem now is where do I put it? Because I've run out of shelf space. But then, as the entire study is going to be revamped soon.
Call it a study.
Study, bunker, whatever.
Bunker. Shed.
The whole room's going to have to be cleared out, which is going to be quite a task.
We'll have to rename it once it's been done because it can no longer be a shed because it's going to be the smartest room in the house.
It's not me calling it a shed. The other big advantage, of course, is ever since we've been here, this room has had this foul, mottled grey carpet, and the number of times I've got something in a pair of tweezers and I'm about to stick it on and it goes bing into the carpet, and you'd be surprised, no, perhaps you wouldn't, the number of small parts that come grey coloured anyway. Finding the little buggers is a nightmare. So I'm going to have tiling. I've just seen a post of somebody doing the immortal searching the floor for a lost part, but he's got a white marble floor tiles and he's still saying it's difficult to find things.
Yeah.
So I think
It's a shame. You could do with a magnet that attracts plastic rather than metal. That would be ideal, wouldn't it?
Well, I think I've vaguely had people who wear a sort of comprehensive apron that attaches to the bottom of the table.
Jewellers
so
that are
anything
working
falls
with
into it.
precious metals.
I can't be bothered.
Well, I'd get up and everything would go flying if I had one of those on.
Yeah.
Right, what's next?
So it's sufficiently grubby, and I'm quite pleased with that. And I've put a radio aerial there, and I can only just see it.
Yeah, I can't pick it up on here.
No, it's elastic, fortunately. So every time I forget it's there and run my hand across it.
Oh, there, hold still. Yeah, God, it's very fine.
Very special elastic stuff. Works well.
Yeah.
Didn't like using it for rigging, but for an aerial wise, it works all right. There. And then next, as advertised, that's quite an old kit, bought a long time ago. Edouard. They make really nice kits. So I've only built a few of them, but they, I think they're Ukrainian. Czech. But they make really nice kits, extremely detailed, with lots of tiny parts. My interest in this is that my father was an air gunner, not on Lancasters, but on Halifaxes. He was the mid-upper gunner, so he had 4 .303 Browning machine guns in his turret, and one of these was about to turn in to attack their aircraft, and he managed to shoot it down. Only granted a probable at the time. No, not even a probable, because there were no witnesses. It's immensely difficult at night, and you're busy. The pilot's trying to throw the airplane out of the way to lose the German fighter. So it wasn't credited at all. It's in his logbook. But I posted that story on Facebook on the site, and somebody looked it up in Luftwaffe records, and indeed the Luftwaffe did lose a couple of these that night, and it seems likely that he did shoot it down. So hence my interest. This should be a whole different kettle of fish. A mass of tiny parts, photo etch, all sorts. Huge amounts of history on each individual aircraft for 4 different options. I hope the parts will go together well, because they usually do, I think. So it'll be a long build because of the amount of detail.
Anyone fancy a pint?
Okay, all those bored people can go now. Ta-ta.
Bye.
Thank you.